why we produce visual renderings of anticipated heat coverage from infrared patio heaters. Hi, I'm Steve. This is the Patio Heat channel, where we create visual concepts of infrared heating as well as tips for outdoor comfort. This one-on-one customer support helps you make the best decision for your application. We strive to earn your business. Visit our website, patioheat.com, for sales and more information. Now let's get heating. All right, so this particular discussion, I guess, will be more of why we choose the orientation and positions, and more in the line of the specifics of the heat coverage of each individual unit. So this particular client would like to have a heater so that it's going parallel with the table this direction here. However, they did state that they also want some fans up above, and so the one recommendation that I could not make was to place the heater in this orientation, because if there's two fans here, obviously my fan blades are going to be underneath the heater. It would not fit. So that is the number one reason why the placement is not that orientation, and it's more of something like this. So that being said, the question they asked was, what about the footprint of heat as far as, let's see here, I think I lost my, there we go. The footprint of heat as far as the orientation. So the manufacturer states this is a 6,000 watt unit, and it states that you can place the 6,000 watt unit between 8 feet off the ground and 12 feet off the ground. And then they also state that the footprint of heat is going to be roughly about 11 by 11. Well, they specifically state 11 by 11. However, that might be only when the heater is at its 12-foot elevation. So that being said, your footprint of heat is going to be changing slightly. This is infrared light waves, and light waves are waves of light, and so they bend and stretch as they travel through space. What I do is I give a, I've had 30 years of experience in this industry, and so I kind of give a footprint of heat where I can, I guess, through the experience, show you what I expect out of a heater. So being that the light wave bends and stretches, there's not exactly straight lines that come across, and that's why I show these arches here in many of my presentations. So if you looked here at a installation height of the bottom of the heater being 9'7" off the ground, then you can see that we have a footprint that you can anticipate of roughly about, this is called 10.5 here by 8.5 here. So from there to there is that measurement. From here to here is that measurement. Now also, because it bends and stretches, there's also a different measurement, and you can see here I have it at 10'11" when it's again at that 7 foot mark off the floor. So the outer edge, that rounding part of the ray that bends and stretches, actually will reach to this 10.5, or sorry, 11, let's call it, by about 12.5 feet. Now, the next thing is, what is the BTU value of the footprint of heat? So what I've done here is, let me just turn this one off for a second. What I've done here is, you might see this little line here, and this is where the footprint of heat penetrates the floor itself. So if I put this back on, and you can see the rays penetrating the floor right here, and it goes all the way around. So I made a mark on that floor, and I came up with a square footage of 119 square feet. Average person will accept about a 275 BTU value at 50 degrees or above, and feel comfortable. So that being said, for 119 square feet of space, you would, on an Infratech heater that produces roughly about 20,500 BTUs, you would anticipate using 1.5 units in order to heat this square footage down here that I've outlined properly. Not the overall square footage, but the footprint of heat that actually is penetrated by the ray itself. So going back to that ray, this is the footprint of heat that we're talking about. All right. So that being said, we got the need of 1.5 units in order to heat this up at that BTU value that I try to produce as best I can. All right, so if I was to flip this table now, and let's just, because this customer wanted to go parallel with the table here, you can see that, oh, and I should mention here, let's see if I have it. Okay, yeah, I do. So the table is roughly 3 feet wide by about 8 foot long. And with the orientation of the heater parallel with the table, it appears as if that you actually get a full coverage from end to end. However, if you're the person sitting here in this chair, you can see that your upper body is not going to be heated completely. This is light waves. So light waves is something that if you're not in the physical light wave itself, you do not appreciate the output of the heater. You're actually in the cold and climate. So this is what they call spot heating. You're heating a specific spot. All right, so back here you can see if you were sitting back here and you pulled the chair out, this is actually pushed all the way in, but you're not always sitting all the way in. This model here I have pulled out all the way. So here you'd be okay for the most part, but here you're not going to be okay. You're not going to be able to pull this chair out any further and then not feel the warmth at all. So this footprint of heat isn't ideal for this application. And the only way I can make it ideal is by placing 2 units in a environment like this right here. So if we go back to let's see if I have it here, putting 2 units here, you can see that I get that proper coverage throughout the whole space, and so that anyone sitting in this environment here from this point here to this point here will appreciate the output of heat. Now, every individual is different, and you might say, well, this is satisfactory to me, and that's okay. If this is satisfactory to you, then you can make that decision. It's just not one that I would put out there and say that this is something good, because I know this BTU value of this footprint of heat just is not enough. So, and also this, you can see here, I have this at about 9 foot off the floor because of the fact that I need to meet the clearances of combustible that starts right here. So that's why this is at that elevation, but and the footprint of heat is a little bit closer to the ground, so it's tighter. So I could show you here, if I change this unit here, for instance, and I put a unit a little bit closer to the ground, this is 6 inches close to the ground, you can see that my footprint of heat is tighter to the floor. It's kind of like a flashlight. You take a flashlight, point it to the wall, you walk up closer, that beam is tighter against that wall and more intense, let's say. So that's why let's go back here. That's why something of this nature is, in my view, a more acceptable way of heating up a patio like this. All right, well, I hope this has helped. If you're looking for assistance with your outdoor heating application and you'd like us to review your plans, please send your information into designs@patioheat.com. I'm Steve, and please tap that like button. We're not monetized. We don't advertise. YouTube will not promote our channel unless we receive your thumbs up, and we really appreciate that. Thank you and have a great day.